Hello everyone, welcome to the Film Recaps, and today I'm going to explain a fantasy adventure film called Jungle Cruise. Be ready for some spoilers ahead. A long time ago, according to legend deep in the Amazon, there was a magical tree known as the Tears of the Moon, whose petals could cure any disease and break any curse. In the mid-16th century, Spanish conquistadors led by Aguirre embarked on an expedition to find the tree and harness the power of its tears. However, they were defeated by the forces of nature, and their journey ended in failure. Aguirre was saved by local villagers. Despite their kindness, the greedy Aguirre attacked them, forcing the village chief to surrender a sacred arrowhead. He was later condemned to become a prisoner of the jungle. In 1916, MacGregor explains to the Royal Society of Explorers, insisting that the Tears of the Moon is not a myth and can be used for medical purposes. He requests access to the recently recovered sacred arrowhead, but his request is rejected, with the group dismissing it as a waste of time. While MacGregor continues to try to convince them, his sister Lily leaves the hall and sneaks into the archive room. She skillfully avoids and distracts the people inside, eventually finding a crate containing the sacred arrowhead, which is the key to locating the Tears of the Moon. Just then, the German prince Joachim, who is also after the arrowhead, discovers it has been stolen and sees Lily with it. He immediately orders his men to capture her. Lily tries to escape using a ladder, knocking out everyone in her way. However, Joachim manages to hit the ladder, causing Lily to hang off at the edge of the ladder. Fortunately, MacGregor sees her and stops a bus, letting her drop, and both of them manage to escape with the arrowhead. On the other side, a curator accidentally reveals Joachim's identity to others. He gets angry and starts to eliminate everyone in the room. Meanwhile, Lily and MacGregor prepare for their journey to the Amazon in search of the Tears of the Moon. In another place in South America, a captain named Frank takes a group of wealthy people on his old boat L'Aquila down the Amazon River. To entertain them, he sets up a series of cheap tricks, but the passengers are more frightened than entertained by his performances. His constant use of corny puns only adds to their confusion. In fact, one passenger even offers him a large sum of money to make the boat go faster. Lily and MacGregor quickly arrive in South America to meet Nilo, the harbor master, who provides a boat for their journey. It turns out that Frank owes Nilo money, and he decides to seize the engine of Frank's boat until the debt is paid. Frank secretly follows Nilo, sneaking into his office to retrieve the engine. While MacGregor is busy at the bar, Lily arrives at Nilo's office and meets Frank, who is posing as Nilo. She helps him retrieve the boat key, and Frank somehow convinces her to hire him for the expedition. They almost come to an agreement when MacGregor and the real Nilo arrive. Lily loses trust in the skipper, and just as she's about to leave, a wild jaguar appears and begins terrorizing the bar. Frank takes action and manages to remove the jaguar from the bar using a piece of meat. This act convinces Lily and MacGregor to hire him for the expedition. As Frank reclaims his engine, he reveals that the jaguar named Proxima is his pet, and that he deliberately staged the scene at the bar to earn their trust. While Frank and MacGregor argue about the luggage, Lily is kidnapped by bird poachers hired by Joachim. Fortunately, Lily is an expert lockpicker and manages to escape from the cage. Frank arrives to help her, and they flee toward the boat as Joachim's henchmen chase them. Following an intense and exhausting chase, they reunite on L'Aquila, and their journey to the tree begins. Realizing that Lily has slipped from his men's grasp, Joachim emerges from his submarine and opens fire with a machine gun, disabling the boat's engine and forcing Frank to manually steer it. He even launches a torpedo at them, but Frank skillfully maneuvers the boat through an old building, allowing the torpedo to pass beneath them. They manage to escape, but the submarine gets stuck and crashes into Nilo's other boats. Frank tries to get closer to the siblings by telling his cheap jokes, while Lily also introduces a moving picture camera to the skipper. The group decides to stop and rest, and Frank prepares freshly fried piranhas for dinner. Later that night, Lily and MacGregor discover that Proxima is Frank's pet. This revelation upsets Lily, causing her to lose trust in Frank once again. Meanwhile, Joachim and his men reach an underground cavern where Aguirre and his soldiers were once imprisoned. Joachim drips river water onto Aguirre, awakening him, who is currently possessed by snakes within his body. Aguirre agrees to help Joachim find the Tears of the Moon, the only way to break his curse. Using a detonator, Joachim floods the cavern with river water to awaken the remaining conquistadors. The next day, thanks to the route Lily chose earlier, they come across rough water and nearly fall down a huge waterfall. Luckily, Frank is a skillful boat driver and manages to get them on the other path to safety. They pull over to the land and stop for a moment. While cutting down trees, McGregor tells Frank that Lily has always been there for him, supporting him. For this reason, he is willing to follow her wherever she goes. Meanwhile, Lily sneaks into Frank's room where she discovers his passion for automobiles and finds several maps of the magical tree. When they return to the boat, Lily immediately accuses Frank of seeking the tears of the moon for himself. He admits that he gave up on that quest long ago, as he always failed in his attempts. Moments later, they are both knocked unconscious by darts and captured by locals who take them to a native tribe. The chieftain, speaking in the Tupi language, demands that Lily return the arrowhead. Lily stubbornly refuses. She manages to break free and tries to escape, but Sam reveals that Frank set the whole scene up. Furious at his constant deception, Lily punches him. Later, she speaks with Sam, who helps her translate the writing on the arrowhead. She reveals the precise location of the tree and explains that it only blooms during a blood moon, which will occur in 2 days. Suddenly, Aguirre and his grotesque men appear at the tribe and begin attacking the villagers. It becomes apparent that Aguirre and Frank know each other. The skipper and Lily try to escape using a rope, but their attempt fails. After a fierce fight, the conquistadors seize the arrowhead. Frank reclaims it in the fight, but is stabbed by Aguirre before throwing it and falling into the water. Lily manages to escape and is warned to leave the river. The conquistadors are forced to retreat as the curse prevents them from crossing the river. They send a message to Joachim through the bees. The next day, Lily is shocked when she finds out that Frank is alive with the blade still stabbed in his chest. He reveals that his true name is Francisco and that he is nearly 400 years old, and Lily assists him in removing the blade. Frank and Lily continue their journey on their own, while McGregor stays behind due to being injured. Frank shares his past with Lily, explaining that he and Aguirre grew up together like brothers. When Aguirre's daughter fell ill and he sought the tears of the moon to cure her, Frank was assigned as the cartographer. However, nature proved unforgiving, and Aguirre lost most of his men. The few survivors refused to turn back, and they were eventually found by villagers who used the tree's petals to heal them. In his impatience, Aguirre forced the village chief to give him the arrowhead. The chief, believing him unworthy, refused, and Aguirre killed him. Frank then helped the chief's daughter secure the arrowhead. The chief, before his death, cursed Aguirre and his men, binding them to the forest forever. Aguirre's hatred for Frank grew after this betrayal, and the two fought repeatedly. Eventually, Frank set a trap, luring Aguirre and his men into a cavern far from the river where they were trapped for centuries. He subsequently established a town and grew close to the local villagers. He then reveals that he has been searching for the tears of the moon in hopes of finding peace and dying at last. Meanwhile, aboard Joachim's submarine, the bees alert the him to Lily's location, prompting him to immediately redirect his course. Joachim eventually arrives at the designated location, captures McGregor, while Sam escapes by swimming away. He forces McGregor to lead them to Lily's current location. On the other side, the boat ultimately reaches the actual location of the tears of the moon. Frank examines the surroundings, then enters the water and notices a small chamber and a lever that he cannot enter due to his large size. Lily must overcome her fear of swimming and helps Frank pull the lever to open the chamber. After several attempts and almost losing her breath, she manages to pull it down, and the river water suddenly recedes. Unfortunately, Joachim and McGregor have been waiting for them under the water. Joachim captures them, and Lily is forced to hand over the arrowhead. The prince explains that he will use the petals to win the war. They force their way into the passage and eventually reach the tree where the prince orders Lily and Frank to activate the magical tree. They realize that the arrowhead is meant to be a heart and eventually discover a red gem hidden in it under the blood moon. Lily puts the gem into the broken-hearted warrior figure, and the tree starts to bloom. Because only one of them will receive the petal, Lily deliberately shoots Frank, and then they walk toward the petals. Frank returns to the boat and eliminates Joachim's men, while Lily outsmarts Joachim and runs towards the petals alone. Before time's up, she manages to secure a petal and hands it over to Frank. Suddenly, the conquistadors join the chaos, and Aguirre immediately attacks Joachim with snakes for betraying him. Frank hands over the petal to McGregor, and then engages in a fight with Aguirre and his men on the boat. He purposely steers the boat toward a wall to block the river. Meanwhile, Joachim appears, but this time McGregor punches him in the face, causing him to be killed by a falling pillar. The boat crashes into the wall, stopping the water from flowing and permanently imprisoning Aguirre, his men, and Frank. panic. She decides to give the petal to Frank, and it doesn't appear to work at first. But Proxima roars as she sees that the stone around Frank crumbles. Frank is brought back to life, but without immortality, and Lily immediately runs towards him and hugs him tightly. They safely arrive at the port, and after returning to London, McGregor declines the invitation to join the Royal Society, while Lily buys the car Frank had been waiting for. What do you guys think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please hit the like and subscribe to the channel for more content.